All right, guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. So, man, Eddie Hearn has come out and said, Canelo Alvarez, at 168 pounds and 175 pounds, is unstoppable. He's unbeatable. He's not getting beaten by anyone at 168 and 175 pounds. The Canelo Alvarez is the man. He's going to beat everyone. He's going to walk through everyone. Do you agree with that?
I think at 168, I think he'll become undisputed, no problem. 175. The thing is, I don't think we're with Canelo. You got to be, to beat him right now, you're going to have to be something really, really special. And I can't see anyone out there that's really, really special. You know, I don't think Power beats him. I don't think any of those guys punch hard enough at 168 or 175.
Ooh,
to beat
you're putting it out there. But you don't think Arthur Beterbiev punches hard enough?
I don't think so. You got to realize if heavyweights are struggling to knock Canelo down, even if it's in sparring or if they're struggling, then I can't see a 175. Even I think, you know, they said, like, I think Tony Bellew was giving an interview, he's like, if you're below 200 pounds, you're not knocking the guy out, and it's just, you're not, some people are just built differently, man, and he's just one of those fighters. Unless you're over 200 pounds, you're not going to wobble him, man. I'm sorry.
You don't think Arthur Beterbiev can beat Canelo Alvarez?
I don't think so. I don't. I just think if Canelo's 100%, I just can't see him. I think Canelo's got the better skills. Power's not beating him. Power is not going to beat him. To have any sort of success, right, you need to be a polished boxer and you've got to have pop. And, you know, we seen what he just did, you know, to Billy Joe. He battered him. So, what you got to give the guy credit, man. What sort of style do you need to beat the guy?
Let me put a name out there. Jamal Charlo.
I think he's a good fighter. I think Jamal Charlo's a good fighter, but what's he going to do? Stand there and have a fight with Canelo? It's tough. It's a tough one. It's a really, really tough one, because although I think Jamal Charlo's a very good fighter, but is he going to beat Canelo? I think he might be one of them ones that fall a bit short, personally. Although I think he'll give a good account of himself. Don't get me wrong, he won't be like one of these guys, like probably like a Fielding, but beating Canelo, nah. Even he says it himself, that, not gonna lie, Canelo's a pound for pound #1 right now.
That's his brother, Jamel. Let me put another name out there, Demetrius Andrade.
Nah, man. None of those type of guys can beat Canelo, man. You know, he's not going to beat Canelo, man. I'm sorry. I don't even think, personally, like, I don't think he's not going to beat Canelo. Canelo's been on top for a really long time, man. And nah, I don't think he can.
You don't think Demetrius Andrade's got any kind of chances, style-wise?
No,
slick, southpaw?
Nah, no chance at all. I think Canelo's shown now, man. Like, he fought Billy Joe, and he proved, you know, it was a slick southpaw, and he was the one that was slick. So you got to realize, how do you beat the guy, man? The guy's proven it now. You know.
Let me put another name out there. David Benavidez.
No, man. I can't see it, man. If I could see any of these guys beating him, I would say I would put a name out myself. But he's not going to beat him, man. He's not.
Don't you think his size, his lankiness, his fast hands going to cause Canelo any trouble?
Yeah, like, they might have a bit of success, but it's a 12-round fight. They're not going to be able to do it for 12 rounds. It's just not. I know it. They're not going to be able to do it. Eventually, they're going to collapse.
Let me put another name out there for you then. Gennady Triple G Golovkin.
That in his prime, 100%, but I think he's too old now. I think Canelo will beat him now. I think Canelo will beat him quite comfortably now. I think he'll... don't get me wrong, Gennady Golovkin, I don't think will get knocked out. But I think Canelo will beat him, you know, at least 116, like 112. It'll be conclusive this time. And that's just because I think Gennady Golovkin's... Like, the hard fights he has had, I think he's aged now, man. I think he's too old. I think he's too old, that's why. But in my opinion, Gennady Golovkin in his prime would beat Canelo. And he did beat him the first time anyways, conclusively. And he didn't get the decision because obviously Canelo was a cash cow. But Gennady Golovkin beats Canelo, or not now, but in his prime. But that's gone now. So yeah, Canelo now.
Let me put another name out there for you then. Andre SOG Ward, if he was to come back, do you think he could pull it off against Canelo?
I don't think if he was to come back now, he could beat Canelo. Because I just think if you've not fought, like, you got to realize you can't just come back and fight Canelo. You can't do that.
If he comes back and has a warm-up fight and, you know, gets back into...
If he looks good, then look. If you're
37 years of age.
If you're saying to me the best version of Andre Ward versus the best version of Canelo, then everyone knows who I'm picking. And there's a lot of people would pick the same as what I would pick. I'm not going to pick against Andre Ward because Andre Ward's Andre Ward. You know, his style. They have a style. Some fighters just have a style where you just can't beat them. You know, you just can't beat them. Although, yeah, they might have a few close fights.
Someone, let's be honest.
Him and Mayweather were just one of those type of guys.
Someone, you say that, but Sergey Kovalev beat Andre Ward the first time and he got robbed. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but obviously, you know, a lot of people thought Mayweather lost as well. But they were. The thing is, what I mean, I'm talking consistently. They were really hard to beat. Like, they just had a really awkward style to beat. And the thing is, Canelo in his prime, Kovalev was doing all right until he got stopped. Kovalev was doing all right, and Ward knocked Kovalev out.
But Kovalev was past his prime when he fought Canelo.
That's what I'm saying. But Andre Ward knocked Kovalev out in 7 rounds in his prime.
I wouldn't say in his prime. He was kind of edging towards the back end, but yeah, he was more fresher than when he fought Canelo.
Yeah,
but
it was the same. It was the same year.
What do you mean same?
So he fought Kovalev, and he had a hard fight against Kovalev. Fought him 6 months later, and it was a whole different thing.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, Kovalev wasn't living the life at that point. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is that Andre Ward first time probably got beat by him. Yes, Andre Ward came back and stopped him in the second fight, but that was a good win. Don't get me wrong. But here's the thing. You think if they were to come back now, who would you pick? Canelo?
Well, obviously Canelo, because Canelo's the active fighter. Ward's been off now. It's like any fighter, but
let's talk about the undisputed fight, Caleb Plant. Then what chance do you give Caleb Plant? Fast hands, tall, naturals, 168. Do you give him more chance than you did Saunders?
I think. Look, yeah, I've seen Caleb Plant, but it looks good against those type of fighters, but until I actually see it against Canelo, I don't know what he might be. $1 million. He might just be $1 million, you know. But I just don't think picking against Canelo right now it makes any sense because he's proven it now. He's proven it way further than what Caleb Plant has. So you gotta give Caleb Plant a slim chance only. You know, he's in that same boat. Like, who's he for? He's in that same category. Like, I just don't think he can. It looks good when he's doing it against those guys, but I don't think that same thing will work against Canelo.
Let me put a wild card out there then. Canelo Alvarez beat Chris Eubank Jr.
It's a massacre, man. That's an absolute massacre, man, because I just feel that because of Eubank's lack of ability and Canelo's punch power and able to hurt you with one shot. Look what he did Saunders, man. He landed one shot and he broke the guy's
Chris Eubank has got a good chin though.
But brother, what's that got to do with chin? Saunders had a good chin, but if you break someone's half their face, chin doesn't come into it. And I don't care what anyone says that, if Eubank half his face is broken, he's quitting. I don't care. They go on that.
Nah, Eubank is Eubank would not quit in a fight.
There's a difference between a cut and there's a difference between when you break 4 bones in your
The thing is that the fact of the matter is Eubank is he's a tough guy.
Canelo, he's getting knocked out.
Yeah.
Do you know he'll actually go cold? He'll get knocked cold against Canelo because the way he fights, he'll walk onto one, and I can see him being like Khan. Honestly, I think he'll walk onto one.
I don't know. Eubank is a bigger guy than Khan, and he takes a better punch, but
nothing to do with that. His lack of skill level will cause him to be in so much problem. It's like if your skill level is just not there. Look, Billy Joe's skill level was there and he was getting punished. If your skill level's not there, what is he going to do? Take it to Canelo? Canelo will take him apart, man. Trust me. I know what I'm saying. If Eubank goes reckless against Canelo, he will get stopped. 1,000,000%. Because Canelo's so technically gifted and he's so good. Yeah, I don't know, when Billy Joe does an interview, he'll tell you, man, that guy's so technically good himself.
What impresses you about Canelo Alvarez? What do you think Canelo's so good at?
I just think Canelo's class, man. I just think his, like, the way he counter punches, the way he moves around the ring. You know, I just think he's a...
What about his defense?
He's an all-round, he's an all-round good fighter, man. Defense solid. I just can't see, like, I just think Eubank will get caught. Man.
Carl Froch said the only type of style that can beat Canelo Alvarez is Terence Crawford. He said Terence Crawford...
Oh yeah, but obviously Terence Crawford's IQ is of that level, but he's too small. That's the issue, he's too small. If it was a Terence Crawford of at the 160 or 168, you got to realise you can't compare people like Billy Joe to Crawford. You know, Billy Joe's, you know, these guys are not on Crawford. Crawford's a different class, man. He's a proper quality fighter, man. But you're not getting that at these weights and at 168, 160.
By the way, do you think if just away from Canelo, do you think if Crawford was to move up to 154 and fight Jamel Charlo, who's going to become undisputed at 154, do you think Crawford has a chance in that fight?
You got to realise, obviously, he's a small 147. So you got to realise if one of those guys land on him, it could get really badly hurt. Although I think if he was a natural 154, then yeah, he's a way better fighter. He's a way better fighter than Jamel Charlo. If he was a natural 154, it's not even up for debate, man. Like I think he's a silver or bronze medalist.
What about? Obviously, I didn't get your thoughts on Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's talking about fighting Terence Crawford. Would you give Josh Taylor any chance of beating a Terence Bud Crawford?
Nah. It's gonna be a wake up call for Josh Taylor because he's been on top for quite a while now. But who's Josh Taylor fought, man? I don't know anyone. I can't even remember any of his fights. He fought Regis Prograis. In my opinion, yeah, he's an okay fighter, but I think someone like a Tank could beat Regis Prograis personally. I don't think Regis Prograis is a good fighter, but he's not anything special where he beat Baranchik. But then you're talking Crawford now. And what would Crawford do to Baranchik? All of those type of guys.
Put it this way,
what would Crawford do?
Crawford fought Postal and Taylor fought Postal. Taylor had a very close fight with Postal and Crawford beat the crap out of Postal.
So there you go then. So it's not going to be... It's going to be one-way traffic, man. He's going to get battered against Crawford. Crawford's just too good. Crawford will beat him up. Because Crawford's just... I don't think that's fight that should be made. I think he should fight Teofimo Lopez or something, Josh Taylor. If he fights Crawford, unless he lands a lucky shot, he's not going to win. Because he's not got better boxing ability than Crawford. He's not got more power than Crawford. What's he going to... He's just gonna have to land a lucky shot, I think. But he ain't beating TC, man. TC is a different level, man, to Josh Taylor for sure.
So how would you see that Terence Crawford Josh Taylor fight going?
Josh Taylor will just get beaten from pillar to post in around 7-8 rounds. He'll be out of there. You know, I'll give him 7-8 rounds because obviously he's probably gonna be coming in determined. You know, he's in his prime. But yeah, no more than 7-8 rounds and. You know, he might quit on his stool because... Josh Taylor's got a lot of... Yeah, but the thing is, we've not really seen him in that sort of fight where it's just one-sided. You know...
I can't see Josh... I just don't...
No, but either way, if he doesn't quit on his stool, he'll get knocked out anyways. The referee will stop it or will get laid out because he's not going to beat TC, man. He's not going to beat TC. I like Josh Taylor. I think he's a very good fighter. I actually think that Josh Taylor would bring it, and I think he'd give Crawford a hard fight. I do think Crawford's too good, and I do think Crawford would stop him. But in terms of Josh Taylor's a very, very heart. He's got a big heart. I can't see. I think if he was to. Do you know what I think people underestimate? People think that Crawford can't punch. But yeah. I beg to differ, man. I don't think he stopped the top welterweights because they're big and strong, but someone that's moving up, I think Taylor will get stopped. Taylor will get stopped against Crawford.
Yeah, I do. I think Crawford is he's very good, like very all-round, complete fighter. But that's my take on it. What do you guys think in the comment section below? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know what your opinions are about what we just talked about. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.